Access granted.
Sit back, relax, and let yourself go. Don't act like you know, but act like you know. Story time.
Feel about the people that feel like Trump is racist.
Yeah, see, I can remember one time I went on to a conference in New York. I was a state judge. It's been 30 some years ago. And some people I knew were there, and they said, hey, let's go check out some of the clubs. I said, okay. I hadn't been to a New York club, and damn. So we go. So there's this tall white guy coming in, and all the brothers hanging around with him. But he doesn't have a bodyguard. He just walks in on his own, and he sits down and, he's glad-handed and in the animated conversation with everybody. So who the hell is that? Oh, he's a billionaire we got around here. Dude's name is Trump. Trump Towers. Oh, yeah, that's the dude that owns it. Oh, he hanging with the homeboys.
Black people have lost their identity, but our oppressors have not lost our identity.
That's an OG move right there. That's an OG move when you can walk by yourself.
He's dated black women before, like the woman he always showed up with on the red carpet thing. She was one fine model right before his current wife. I wasn't present, but I had 3 clients back in the 1980s, business clients, who, when I took the bench, I kind of left them in the lurch because I couldn't continue to represent them, but they got other counsel, and their problem was getting finance for their business. Well, 25 years later, I run into them separately. They don't know each other. They might, I don't know, but I didn't put them together. Question: did you ever get that loan or that finance to get your business? Yeah. Well, what happened? Who'd you get it from? I got it from Donald Trump. And, not only did they get the finance, they tell a tale that, well, I don't know if it's a tale, but the story is when they gave him the term check, he asked them if they were happy with what they were doing. Were they satisfied? He said, this is what I'm supposed to get. Yeah, and he tore the contract up, tore the check up, said, my gift to you.
Black people have lost their identity, but our oppressors have not lost our identity.
Again, this is what proof do you need? We all say things, and if you're going to say something, make sure you have evidence to back it up, to back up your claim, not what you heard. Now, I understand that certain things can hurt Trump because he has no filter when he speaks. But you have to be able to understand where he's coming from in order to, instead of taking offense to it. Okay, he's a New Yorker. And I love my New York people because they straightforward with it. I love my people from the South because they're straightforward with it. Okay? I have respect for any individual, male or female, that comes straight from the shoulders with it.
Oh, Jesse Jackson ran for U.S. president twice. Donald Trump provided his headquarters across the country and raised money for him to finance his run. That isn't too bad. So what are they talking about? See, remember that thing about tell a lie long enough and loud enough? The real problem is he's not into the rainbow cult thing. He's not an acolyte, disciple, follower.
He don't do what everybody else is doing. And the upper people can't use him as a puppet and pull his strings because he is not going to allow it. Now we getting somewhere.
Black people have lost their identity, but our oppressors have not lost our identity.
Pay attention to that. If not, You have to get out of your feelings and your emotions. Too many people in their feelings and emotions. You got to think logic. I'm a businessman. If I'm going to do business with somebody, I'm going to do business with Trump because I know how he get down. And I know with Trump, I'm going to get shit done. With Kamala Harris, shit ain't going to get done. And then when you question her about it or ask her about it, well,
or such like he's not into the unicorn, so he's an enemy. He also is staunchly into the manhood thing. Well, he said he grabbed some. Well, you know, I mean, he's talking to folk in a locker room. Some punk wants to go snitch on him. That's a punk play. You know, that's like somebody saying, baby, you know, I really love you, and that man you with, he ain't good for you. He runs around on you. You know, that kind of punk play. So when somebody's pulling that off, I'm not going to look down on it. And as a matter of fact, my first mother-in-law had a beauty salon for years. And I used to go down there and run errands for her, and I'd sit there and listen to the ladies, and I'm going, oh, wow, man, this is crude stuff up in here. Damn. You know, the ladies are worse than the guys when it comes to not locker room talk, but beauty salon talk. So I'm going, whoa, damn. Wish I'd known this years ago. Hey, this is some, damn.
But one thing I would ask you though, how you feel about Trump saying that he want to get a police immunity?
now, when he gets into this right here, this is what we're going to talk about because this is another thing to come up. My advice to each and every individual in your respective state, know your law. Now, I worked as a CO and currently I do executive protection. Even I know this law with this immunity here with law enforcement. Even I know it. But I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to let Judge Joe Brown tell it.
Black people have lost their identity, but our oppressors have not lost our identity.
It's what you have to understand what he's saying. Immunity is immunity, but it's qualified. In other words, if you're doing your job, okay. But if you ain't doing your job, it ain't okay. Like, for example, right here in the Memphis, there's a case where 5 black cops got indicted for beating this guy to death, right? He had Crohn's disease. Tyree Nichols. So, if it had been police randomly stopping a random citizen, that's one thing. But the point is the allegations is that the victim was screwing the baby mama of one cop, screwing the wife of another cop, and trying to screw a third cop's wife. So they found him, told him to back off, he wouldn't, so they went looking for him to beat his behind.
Let's be logic for a second. If men, brothers, if it been you in that situation, you can't tell me you wouldn't have done the same thing. I find out somebody been screwing my wife or whatnot have you, yeah, I'm going to go looking for that person. You would have done the same thing. Okay, let's flip it. Ladies, you find out another woman has been sleeping with your husband. You can't tell me you're not gonna go. You're gonna go look for that. You already know. You're gonna go looking for that broad.
Black people have lost their identity, but our oppressors have not lost our identity.
Crohn's disease, and he died of the after effects. Now that's the story in the streets. So is that cop action? No, that's all personal. That has nothing to do with an immunity situation. The argument doesn't even come in because it didn't have anything to do with police work.
So now, do y'all understand what immunity means? Now you get it. He's explaining it clear as day. So there's no misconception about it.
Got a problem with your personal life and somebody hacking into your women, you see. Now, that's the difference. See, what you saw do, this guy would not have gotten any of that immunity. Now, the immunity comes in like there's an armed robbery in progress. This dude's firing shots, and he shot 2 people working the liquor store. The cop shows up, shoots him, and the family says, "Why didn't you just shoot my baby in the leg instead of killing him?" Well, that would be immunity because the guy's acting in the line of duty, you see. So,
Pay attention.
So that's like why you have the Castle Doctrine. Castle Doctrine has been the law for the longest period of time, but it wasn't codified. It was more common law. So what was happening, it literally a case in one state was like this. A guy did a home invasion armed, and the homeowner was on the 2nd floor in the bedroom, got his gun, and what went on is the homeowner was at the top of the stairs.
Now, before he finishes, it's a threat with a threat. What is a threat with a threat? I have a firearm, and the suspect has a firearm. So anything that happens is a threat for a threat. Versus a person breaking into my home, and he doesn't have a weapon that equals the line of threat of my weapon, meaning I have a firearm but he doesn't. The threat needs to match. Pay attention.
The burglar is halfway up the staircase. They each fired a shot at each other. The burglar falls down and breaks his leg and sues the homeowner. Well, to clear that up so the homeowner wouldn't get sued by this guy for having a broken leg that wouldn't have happened if he hadn't burglarized the house, wouldn't have been shot at if he hadn't had a gun in his hand, they codified as Castle Doctrine. You're on your own when you break off in somebody's house. So that gives the homeowner immunity. That's what they're talking about.
Now, probable cause.
Now, if you say you broke into my house and I'm tired of this is the 2nd time, and they do say, "All right, man, call the police, I surrender. Nah, I'm gonna kill you." Bam, bam, bam. See, that's not exactly what time it is, you know.
I'm happy you clearing that up, because when I was told that, they was making it seem like, you know, Trump, he was giving the police permission to kill black people anytime they want, you know, so that's how they was making it seem. So yeah, I'm happy you clearing that up.
Black people have lost their identity, but our oppressors have not lost our identity.
No. And see, he'll call the cop a coward. Remember that thing where that guy flagged down what turned out to be a female cop because she had a road problem and he was trying to get help and she shot him to death? Trump called her a coward, which is what she was. So, you know, he'll call it like he sees it.
Until then, go be the best version of yourself for me to see. Know who you are and whose you are in the season of your life. Walk in the essence of your truth and live your best life ever. Peace, love, and blessings. Shalom.